All right, welcome back. Welcome back to Empowered Esquire TV. And today we are live with the case of Beyonce and the stolen diamond. We also have a guest here today, little Mac. Mac, say hello to everyone. I think he's feeling a little cranky today, not really feeling in much of the hello mode, but he will be with us. So we're going to start today's stream by having a conversation about what quote unquote blood diamonds are, so that we have an understanding of exactly what the conversation is. And then we're going to see this Tiffany ad with Beyonce and Jay-Z and hear what South Africans, so actual people from South Africa, feel about this famous diamond and about its legacy, and understand exactly what they're saying when they're alleging that this diamond is in fact stolen and should be returned to the people of South Africa. So hello to everyone in the chat. Mac, Crime Spotter, said hello to you. Say hi. See, this is a miserable, cranky one today. So let's dive into our intro video. What are blood diamonds? This video is actually called 25 Things You Should Know About Blood Diamonds. So here we go. As you know, I'm headed into my share screen. Let's get straight to it.
Number 25. Also known as conflict diamonds, hot diamonds, and war diamonds, blood diamonds are mined in war zones and sold to finance insurgencies. Number 24. These areas usually include Central and West African countries. Number 23. Warlords use extreme violence in order to force the locals into extracting their diamonds. Number 22. For example, during the Civil War in Sierra Leone, a group known as the Revolutionary United Front killed, threatened, and even cut off the arms of people in diamond villages until they took control of the mines. Number 21. In Sierra Leone, 20,000 people were mutilated and millions fled the country. Number 20. According to National Geographic News, blood diamonds are responsible for 4 million deaths. Number 19. The problem wasn't really made known to the public until Leonardo DiCaprio starred in the movie Blood Diamond. Number 18. The diamond industry responded to the movie with successful PR campaigns. People kept buying. Number 17. Several years earlier in 2002, the Kimberley Process Certification Scheme was created to regulate diamond trading and prevent illegitimate diamonds from entering the market. Number 16. It was envisioned by the diamond industry and instated by the United Nations. Number 15. De Beers and the rest of the diamond industry now claim that 99.8% of diamonds are conflict-free. Number 14. In 2006, however, the United Nations and the U.S. government released reports showing that nearly $23 million of blood diamonds from the Ivory Coast were smuggled into Kimberley Process countries. Number 13. How is this possible? The Kimberley Process relies on hopelessly corrupt governments of diamond-producing countries to check and certify their diamonds are legitimate. Number 12. These certifications are then attached and sealed along with the diamonds as they are exported. Number 11. Countries like the United States can then ensure that diamonds are not from illegitimate sources. Number 10. Many times, government officials get paid off to let diamonds through, or they get smuggled across borders into legitimate trading channels. Number 9. One of the founders of the Kimberley Process, Ian Smiley, even resigned from the group not long ago, citing its ineffectiveness. Number 8. This is not to say that the diamond trade is all bad. Legal diamonds promote development in underdeveloped nations. Number 7. The Kimberley Process did, at least initially, manage to curb a significant amount of violence related to blood diamonds. Number 6. So what can be done? As a consumer, not much. There really isn't any way to know where the diamond came from. Number 5. Well, you could try synthetic diamonds. The natural diamond monopolies hate those, and good ones are chemically indistinguishable. Number 4. You could fly to Africa and make sure the diamonds are legit with your own 2 eyes. Number 3. You could also just try to stay informed about how the things you buy every day get onto store shelves through channels of violence and exploitation. Number 2. At any rate, the diamond industry continues to grow every year. And number 1. For better or for worse, this provides underdeveloped economies with jobs and corrupt political systems with money. If you liked the video you just saw, then feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel by using the orange button in the top right. And don't forget to go check out.
So if you are just joining us, we just watched a quick video about quote unquote blood diamonds, what they are, where they come from, and 25 things that people in general do not know about them. And also we got a hello from Mac, and Mac is saying hello to everyone as well. So the case of Beyonce and this allegedly stolen diamond, what is that about? I'm going to first say hello to everyone in the chat, kind of have a convo with you about what you've heard, and then we're actually going to hear exactly what Beyonce's involvement is with this allegedly stolen diamond. So let me say hello. I'm going to show everyone's comments. Crime Spotter says hi to Mac. Mac says hello back. Hi, Nappy Roots Girl. Hey, Rev. How's it going, Rev? Hi to Cindy Jones. Hi, the beautiful Bernice. Hi, Michelle Jordan. Let me get her comment up here. Hi to PMB. And of course, hello to KKC. All righty. So if you are new here and you'd like a little shout out, just drop a line in the chat and I will be sure to do so. If you are an OG and you're a returning viewer of this channel, welcome back. Now, are any of you familiar with what's going on with Beyonce and Jay-Z and this Tiffany diamond that is allegedly stolen? Put a Y in the chat if you've heard of this story. If you're not familiar with it, put an N in the chat. So Y if you've heard about this whole hubbub, and if you have not heard about this at all. No. Okay, so I'm seeing that most of you haven't yet heard about what's going on with this Tiffany diamond. Okay, so, oh, I see one person. All right, so hello to QT and also hello to G5. All right, and hello to Venus. So Venus also knows. So there are a few of you that have heard about this. So let's dive into a quick video. It's a couple minutes long about Beyonce and this diamond in particular. Before we start the conversation about whether or not the people of South Africa have a legal claim against Tiffany and Co. and by way of agency of some sort, the celebrities who have worn this diamond. Because we can talk all day about, what people are saying and, how people feel about this. But the truth of the matter is, it really comes down to whether or not South Africans can actually say they have a legal claim against Tiffany and Company regarding this diamond, right? That's what it really comes down to. So let's dive right into our video that deals specifically with Beyonce wearing this priceless diamond. All righty, let's make this full screen.
It's all about love for Beyonce and Jay-Z. The power couple honors their nearly 20-year relationship in the new campaign for Tiffany and Company.
Tiffany's? You mean the jewelry store?
That's right. I'm crazy about Tiffany's.
It's the first time Queen Bee and her husband have appeared in an ad together. Beyonce wearing a curved, clinging black gown with sheer opera gloves channeling Audrey Hepburn's classic style from Breakfast at Tiffany's. Beyonce's glam look is accented by the iconic 128-carat Tiffany diamond. The famous gemstone, unearthed in 1877, has only been worn by 3 other women. Socialite Mary Whitehouse wore it in 1957. A few years later, Audrey Hepburn donned the diamond to promote Breakfast at Tiffany's. The jewel wasn't worn again until Lady Gaga stepped onto the Oscar red carpet in 2019. The gem is a part of pop culture, and Gal Gadot wears a necklace similar to the priceless piece in her upcoming film, Death on the Nile.
How do I look?
The new Tiffany campaign also stars a never-before-seen painting by Jean-Michel Basquiat titled Equals Pie. Tiffany also released a short clip from an upcoming film. Beyonce plays the piano while Jay-Z films her using a Super 8 camera. The movie will feature a reimagining of Moon River performed by Beyonce. Of course, Audrey Hepburn sings the celebrated song in the film.
Two drifters off to see the world.
So now we have the full story, right? I'm going to put this little little mascot down for now. Go ahead, little one. So now you have the full story as to what is going on with this diamond. So as you can see, it is a gorgeous, I mean, huge 128 carat diamond. Now, the backstory to this diamond is that it was allegedly found in the 1800s, right, by the original founder of Tiffany and Company. However, we know the conflict comes in because a lot of these diamonds are obtained, or especially during that time, right? Now they have some way of saying that they have allegedly changed some of their practices, but especially during that time, a lot of these diamonds were obtained by use of slave labor, right? So people who were forced to work for sometimes very little pay, sometimes nothing at all, to garner these diamonds, which were then turned around and used for a profit. So, of course, you have both a legal and a moral question here, because you have to wonder, well, is it morally sound for someone to have obtained something by way of slave labor and or almost free labor, and then turned around and made a profit off of it that lasted generations? Then you also have to ask yourself the question of, well, is it legally sound? Is there some sort of legal action that can be taken to ensure that people are not gaining profit off of something that was, in the words of some people, allegedly stolen, right? So I'm going to hop in the chat and answer some questions here. I see Crime Spotter has a question. Crime Spotter's question is, was there such talk about it when Lady Gaga wore it as well? Crime Spotter, that is a very, very interesting question that you have. And I actually have queued up some comments that speak to that exact statement. So let me share one of such comments with you. Here it is. So people on Twitter are, of course, talking about this. Someone on Twitter said, Lady Gaga wore that diamond necklace and it was all love. But as soon as it lands on Beyonce's neck, y'all suddenly remember where it's from and how it's a blood diamond? Someone says in response to that comment, the people complaining about Beyonce wearing it did not know that Lady Gaga wore it. They do not care about Lady Gaga in general. Remember, social media is a bubble, an algorithm of your interest over and over again. So let's have that conversation. Is it that people are skewed in that they're just ready to jump on Beyonce? Or is it perhaps that people who have an interest in Beyonce don't necessarily have an interest in Lady Gaga? Is that really what it is? And now I'm going to have a moment of transparency with you all. I did not know that Lady Gaga ever wore that necklace. It never crosses my mind any type of Lady Gaga news. It never crosses my mind. It never crosses my timeline. It's never of my interest. And that is the truth. So I think there's a dichotomy here, right? And it may not necessarily be that people want to jump on Beyonce about it, but it may just really be that, hey, listen, Beyonce's crowd of people who would be interested in her is not necessarily aligned with Lady Gaga's, right? So that's my opinion on that one, Crime Spotter. I hope I answered your question. Let me say hello to some new people in the chat. Hello to QT1. I don't remember if I said hi to Nappy Roots Girl, so you get a second hello. And Crime Spotter, okay, that's not a question. All righty. So now let's move into the legal question of today. Could the people of South Africa have some sort of legal claim against Tiffany and Company? And as I said, by way of agency, the celebrities who have worn these diamonds. Hello to Octavius Prime. Octavius Prime says, help? Are you okay? Let me check the chat. I don't see anything else going on. Well, Octavius, I hope you're okay. And there's someone that I missed in the chat. Hello to King Control and hello to Nappy Yankee. Let me show everyone's comment and give you a little shout out. And also hello to You Melanated Origins. So yes, let's get into it. What would the South Africans need? And really, what would anyone need to file a lawsuit? Well, the first thing that you would need to file a lawsuit is standing. I'm going to put that in the chat. Although you guys know I can't stand the clickety clack clack noise. that the keyboard makes, it is what it is, right? So the first thing you would need is standing. As you guys know on this channel, I love to show you the law as opposed to just telling you about it. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look at one of our favorite resources, which is the Cornell Law School Legal Information Institute, right? So standing is the capacity of a party to bring suit in a court. So that means it's the ability of a certain party to bring suit, to bring a lawsuit, to file a lawsuit, right? Now, if this lawsuit were to come to fruition in the United States, meaning if South Africans were to try to take some sort of legal action as a group, it would be a federal case because it would involve international parties, right? So we can skip the state part. We can go straight to standing in federal court. At the federal level, legal actions cannot be brought simply on the ground that an individual or group is displeased with a government action or law, right? Federal courts only have constitutional authority to resolve actual disputes. So South Africans en masse have to have an actual dispute with Tiffany and Company. Okay, well, here's the three-part test as to whether or not a party can sue. First, the plaintiff has to have suffered an injury in fact, meaning that the injury is of a legally protected interest, which is A, concrete and particularized, and B, actual or imminent. And now, everyone, and I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen because now we're really getting into the meat of this. So similar to when we discuss reparations, we're going to have a similar conversation here about who exactly would sue. So your injury, in fact, has to be concrete and particularized, which means that the people who are suing have to be able to prove an actual direct link to the injury. So that's the first issue you have, right? Because any South African trying to take legal action today would have to prove that they are actually directly connected to the original South Africans who were taken advantage of, i.e. in their work of finding this massive diamond, which the founder of Tiffany allegedly just then took and used for his own profit. So that's the first step. They would have to directly prove some sort of lineage to the original founders, if you will, whichever word you prefer, right, of this massive diamond. That's the first thing. Now let's hop back into standing, shall we? Now the second tenet, there must be a causal connection between the injury and the conduct brought before the court. So the injury has to have been caused by the actions of the defendant, right? And in this instance, the injury would be that they would be making a civil claim for theft. So the loss of this diamond would be their injury. Now, third, it must be likely, rather than speculative, that a favorable decision by the court will redress the injury. So in other words, can the court do anything about this? Because if the court cannot actually issue an order that would fix the problem, then there is no point in having a lawsuit. So in this instance, the South Africans that brought this claim would be arguing for the return of the diamond. They would be asking the court for an injunction which orders Tiffany and Company to return the diamond to the people of South Africa. Okay? So standing, these are the things that they would need to be actually, able to bring a suit. I'm going to take questions, and then we're going to talk about, well, what would be their legal cause of action? What would they allege? So let's hop out of the document. I'm in the chat here. Hello to Stephanie Collins. It looks like she has a question. So Stephanie Collins says, I wonder if a potential plaintiff could bring suit under the International Tort Claims Act. Very good question, Stephanie. And we're going to get into that when we talk about the law as to what the cause of action would be for these South Africans who are alleging that this diamond was in fact stolen and should be returned. Okay. So if anyone has any questions about standing, about how you would be able to even connect yourself today in this time, right, to the theft of a diamond in the 1800s, drop your question in the chat and I will answer your question. Okay, so I see a question from B Buccaneer. I'm going to put that question on the screen while I take a quick water break. So B Buccaneer says, let's talk about the fact that the value of diamonds is a scam, question mark. Their value is based on being governed by a monopoly. They are not rare. It's simply a 1947 ad campaign by the De Beers, which B Buccaneer does have a point. Now, I have not done extensive study into whether or not diamonds are rare. I haven't looked into that. But I have heard before that diamonds are actually not, in fact, as rare as we have been led to believe. So there could be some validity to that. All right, so I don't see any questions about standing. So we are going to hop into what intentional torts are, right? And what the actual cause of action could be for some of the South Africans. And we will also talk about, and let me pull that up here, the International Tort Claims Act as requested by Miss Stephanie Collins, okay? All righty, so let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen per usual. What are intentional torts? Okay. So here we are. Find law is another thing that we like to use here on this channel, right? Another one of our tools. I always show you absolutely free tools that you can use to look up the law that can give you, information that you could actually find to be reputable, right? So Cornell Law School with their Legal Information Institute, and also findlaw.com, right? These are reasonably reputable resources that are totally free. So if in fact you don't want to spend the money to buy a law book, or you don't have the money to spend to buy a law book, there is information out there that you could use, okay? So let's just start with what are torts, right? Because you may be thinking, if you're the average person and you're not a law nerd like me or an attorney, what is a tort? What is that? So let's get into it, okay? A tort is an injury caused to a certain person, right? It's a personal injury, if you will. That is what a tort is. So what are intentional torts? Let's get into that. Here we have a conversation about what torts are, right? So as I said, a tort is some kind of wrongful act that causes harm to someone else. That's a tort. That's it, okay? Now they have some intentional torts and they have some common torts. So common intentional torts are battery, where you hit someone, right? Assault, where you either hit or threaten to hit that person. False imprisonment, where you confine that person without their permission. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, in which you do something to someone which causes them to feel really, really strong emotions that are negative, right? That's intentional infliction of emotional distress. And of course, when you mean to inflict that type of emotional reaction. Fraud, which we hear a lot about here on YouTube, don't we? Defamation, which we also hear a lot about. Invasion of privacy, trespass, and then the one that is relevant here, conversion. Conversion is when someone takes someone else's property and converts it to their own. Okay, so one more time. Conversion is when someone takes someone else's property and converts it to their own. So in other words, people, if in fact there is a group of South Africans who could say we have standing to bring this suit, they would be alleging conversion. They would be alleging that they have legal rights to this diamond as the original founder of this diamond, and that the founder of Tiffany & Co. took this diamond and converted it to his property when in reality, it should be theirs. Got it? Conversion. All right, so I'm in the chat. I see some questions. Hello to Cindy Jones. Cindy Jones says, is the land it was originated a part of standing? I'm not sure I understand that question, Cindy. Do you mean jurisdiction? Because jurisdiction and standing are different. So give me a little bit of clarification on that. Crime Spotter has a question as well. He says, as of late, there's been a campaign the world over to return lots of stolen artifacts. Can this be a sort of artifact or no? Yes. This diamond is, in fact, a sort of ancient artifact, if you will, right? And so the argument can be made that it belongs to the original land. Yes, that argument can be made. Peace to CCC TV. All righty. So I'm going to stop screen share on the issue of conversion and see if there are any other questions in regards to what conversion is and what a tort is. If not, we're going to discuss the International Tort Act, also known as the Alien Tort Statute, right? And have a conversation about that statute and whether or not South Africans could, bring a claim under that statute, okay? So water break for me again while I see if anyone has questions. I don't see any questions. Now, for those of you wondering what the conversation was online, if you missed that, I did pull up quite a few screenshots that I wanted to share with you all. I already shared one. Let me see if I can find some others. All right, so I'm going to pull up a few other comments that were pulled offline from, various places. And we're going to talk about them because you know what? I think it rounds up the discussion. It gives us a fuller idea of the conversation here. All right, Cindy Jones has a question, and then we'll get into some of these comments comments from Twitter. Cindy Jones says, yes, since the diamond is indigenous to South Africa, the people of South Africa all have rights to the diamond? Somewhat, right? Somewhat. If you go the way that Crime Spotter was saying, which is if you go the route of this diamond being an ancient artifact, then yes, you can argue that all people from South Africa have a right to that. But if you go particularly with the tort of conversion, then the people who are alleging standing, they would have to prove a direct connection to the Africans that originally found the diamond. Make sense? So if you see it as an ancient artifact, then yes, you could say every South African has a right to that diamond and it should be returned to South Africa. But if you go the route of conversion, then you have to have South Africans suing who can prove a direct connection to the people that found the diamond. Okay, I hope that answered your question. Octavius has a question. He says, if that is the case, can African Americans sue African countries for the trespass and conversion of our freedom and land for reparations under international law? Well, I'm not sure that they could sue for the conversion of their freedom, right? Because conversion really refers to taking something as in a tangible object. So let me use an example. I took this bracelet, right? And it was originally Octavius's bracelet, and now I've made it mine. That's conversion. And so if you're not talking about a tangible object, conversion does not really apply. But perhaps there is a false imprisonment claim there, but of course, whenever you talk about reparations, the issue is not whether or not something was done that was tortious and or, harmful. That's not the issue. The issue is, can you narrow down the people who can prove that they were harmed? That is always the issue with reparations, is being able to carve out the class of people who these reparations actually should be given to. Okay. All right, I don't see any other questions thus far, so we're going to hop into some of these comments because, like I said, I think they help to round out the conversation. So let's start with this one. All right. So here you have a picture of Beyonce and Jay-Z. You see that she's wearing the yellow diamond here. And you see the comment says Beyonce wearing the iconic Tiffany stone alongside Jay-Z and a never before seen painting by Basquiat, which, by the way, there's also a big controversy about the Basquiat painting because Basquiat was known to be against capitalism. So there's also a lot of hubbub about whether or not Basquiat would have, were he still with us, wanted his paintings to be used in an ad for jewelry. Food for thought, right? So Abdullah Henmamit says, as creative as they are, It is a pity that they can't imagine a vision of success beyond black-faced white prestige culture. They represent a deepening of the crisis, not our ascendance. So here Abdullah is speaking to colonism, right? He's speaking to the fact that we may be, and this is a maybe, this is his opinion, that we may be in a time now where we as people of color are perpetuating colonism. Whereas once it used to be people that did not look like us, right? Now we are perpetuating colonism on each other. Again, good food for thought. Does it play into the legal, ins and outs of this? No, but it adds to the fullness of the discussion, right? Let's take a look at another one of these comments. Let's see. Oh, this one looks very interesting. So here we have, here we have a picture of what seems to be some of the Africans who were originally working in the mine where this huge diamond was found. Okay, so here you have this picture of Africans working. Allegedly, the year is 1877. As I said, that is around the time that this big Tiffany diamond was found. It was found in the Kimberley mine in South Africa, and it was allegedly found by Africans who were enslaved. So that's where the legal claim stems from. It stems from South Africans who can say, hey, we found this stone and we were illegally enslaved. So this stone should actually be returned to us. Now, whether or not that would be successful in court, that's a conversation we're going to continue to build up throughout our time together, right? But this is some good background here, because here you can actually see the workers who were working on the mine, or at the mine, I should say. Let's check out yet another comment, shall we? Let's see this one here. Alrighty, so here we have this comment which says, somehow, here we go. I lost it for a second on my screen. Oh boy, so this is going to get deep. Okay, so someone says, it looks like Goody Weaver says, it's disgusting that anyone of African descent can be bought off to represent a bunch of colonizing thieves. Ooh, oh, he feels strongly. Even grosser that these two are already billionaires and don't even need the money. Millions of dead African miners just rolling in their graves and screaming. Wow. Someone responds and says, y'all getting on Tiffany and Co. when Beyonce could literally just walk in there, take the jewel, and bring it back herself, no questions asked. Why? Because she's Beyonce. So get her attention, not theirs, because they don't care. Someone responds to that and says, you hid the reply. Oh, they're responding to Tiffany and Co., by the way. You hid the reply speaking about returning these stolen jewels to Africa. I wonder why. Wow, these comments are very, very enlightening. Let's see. I think I had a few more that I wanted to share with you. Is this one that we haven't shared? This may be one that we haven't shared yet. Let me see. Yes. Okay. So here we go. They're talking about the fact that these jewels were allegedly stolen. So you see someone saying, return the stolen jewel back to Africa. And you see someone here saying, yes, she has the crown jewel of apartheid South African state around her neck. Interesting. So now we've gotten a more kind of well-rounded idea of what is being said online, where this jewel originally came from, how it was allegedly garnered, and the whole shebang. So as you can see, there is the argument that this jewel was obtained through allegedly illicit purposes, right? Through enslavement, through theft of some sort. And that in the day and age we are in now, it is in fact stolen and should be returned, okay? So I'm in the chat now. I see CCTV says, so he was wearing the blood diamonds, the ones Tiffany's keeps in the vault. Oh, so she. Yes. So Beyonce was wearing this huge yellow diamond. As we earlier in the video before you got here, we actually saw the campaign. And allegedly this diamond was found by enslaved Africans in South Africa in the 1870s in the Kimberley mine. So there is a huge uproar now about the fact that that stone should perhaps be returned to the South Africans. All right, and B Buccaneer says, That large diamond on the Queen of England's crown is the Koh-i-Noor diamond. It is as big as a hen's egg. It was taken from India, and some Bollywood stars are trying to get it back. Interesting. Huh. So you see, there is a large conversation being had about these stones, where they come from, and whether or not they should be returned. Miss Mary says, hello to Miss Mary. She says, with all due respect, there is so many stolen things that rightfully should be returned to Africa, and the true owners, which are more precious than that diamond. Those things can be found in museums. Good point. You know, there are a lot of artifacts we have in museums today that maybe those should be returned to Africa, right? Maybe. So let's hop into the Alien Tort Statute, and then let's have a conversation about whether or not any lawsuit filed by South Africans could actually be successful. Because, and I wonder if you knew this is not the first time that there has been legal action taken which involved a celebrity and a blood diamond. Naomi Campbell was involved in legal action involving a celebrity and a blood diamond back in the 90s. So I'll share that with you at the end, all right? So let's go into the Alien Tort Statute, shall we? All right, here we go. So we're back at one of our favorite tools, right? The LII. The Alien Tort Statute, also known as the Alien Tort Claims Act, is 28 USC section 1350. So it's a federal law, and it grants jurisdiction to federal district courts of all causes where an alien sues for a tort only in violation of the law of nation or of a treaty of the United States. Broadly speaking, it serves as a statutory instrument for gaining universal jurisdiction over violations of international law. A lawsuit under the ATS can proceed for any harm resulting from a violation of international law, no matter where the harm occurred or who inflicted the harm. Ah, very, very interesting. So what we are hearing is that South Africans who can prove some sort of connection, right, could sue Tiffany and Co. and perhaps have as co-defendants some of these celebrities, including Beyonce, right? And say, we are suing under this Alien Tort Statute. We are not from the United States of America, but the US is connected to our injury. And because of this alien tort law, we can sue you in federal court now. Okay, so they do have multiple laws. They have conversion as a cause of action, and they also have a cause of action under this Alien Tort Statute. So technically, some South African coalition of some sort could bring a lawsuit. They could do it, right? It could happen. So let me stop sharing my screen for a second, hop back in the chat because I think there may be some questions. Let's see. Oh, well, I don't see any questions, but I do see a comment I'd like to share. QT1 says, B can potentially make it right by soliciting legal assistance to see if there is a case and help to return it. Yes. I think that is a way that she could perhaps gain some favor in the eyes of the South Africans who are very, very upset and think that this diamond should be returned. Because if you're unaware, Beyonce did respond to these allegations. And in her response, she alleges that she did not know about the history of this diamond. So if in fact she did not know and she does want to help now, absolutely, QT, that is something she could do to help right now if she's saying that she was unaware. Okay. So are there any questions on the law before we dive into whether or not this would actually be a successful lawsuit and we start to talk about how some of these cases actually play out in court? I'll have my water while I wait. Okay, so I don't see any questions on the law. So let's talk about the viability of this kind of case. Now, you guys know that I never say for sure how a case will turn out, right? But we can discuss in hypothetical terms chances of success and viability of certain types of cases, right? So in this instance, if in fact South Africans were to try to take legal action, their best bet would be to unify under some sort of organization. So let's say, for example, South Africans United, right? Some sort of legal organization, and then file suit as the organization. Now, let's say they did that. South Africans United versus Tiffany and co-defendants Beyonce, Lady Gaga, whoever, right? Now, how viable is this case from there on out? Well, now you have the age-old question of whether or not the court today should be looking at enslavement from the current perspective of how we view enslavement, or from the way that enslavement was viewed at the time that this diamond was found. That's the question the court will be faced with. Because if they view enslavement the way we view it today, they will say absolutely illegal, the diamond should absolutely be returned. But the court would have to answer that question. They would have to say, well, are we viewing it from the way that it was viewed then? Because then enslavement was not illegal. And so then Tiffany and Co. did rightfully say, we're taking this diamond from these enslaved people because these people are, at that time, our property. So the court would have to answer that question. The court would have to face whether or not you have to judge conversion and or theft at the time that the item was converted or present day. It's an interesting question. Do I think that a South African organization could bring a viable case? You know what? I actually think they could bring a viable case. And I think it would be an interesting opportunity for us to see a court address whether or not these things were actually taken under some sort of theft and whether or not they should be returned. All right, so I am in the chat again. Stephanie Collins says, plaintiffs under alien tort claims are not terribly successful. Good point, right? All right, I don't see any other, oh, wait. God Created Black is a new sub. Hello, God Created Black. How are you? Welcome to the tribe. Welcome to the EETV tribe. We're happy to have you. All right. So tell me what you think in the chat. I mean, you know, they could bring a viable legal suit. Stephanie Collins doesn't think that it would be successful. What do you think? Put a Y in the chat if you think that if the South Africans got united, they created a legal organization and they brought suit, they could get this diamond back. Put a Y in the chat if you think they could get it back. And put an N in the chat if you think, yeah, no, they're not getting that stone back. What do you think? What say you, my people? Peace to Indigenous Black man. Peace to you. All right, I'd like to hear what you think. What say you? And if you're catching this on the replay, tell me in the comments. What do you think? Do you think that this case could stand a chance in a federal court, or you think not? So Karma Justice thinks yes. Okay. CCC TV says yes or maybe. Cindy Jones says yes. Miss Mary says not with the laws now. B Buccaneer says yes. All righty. So as the votes pour in, I'm going to give you all a moment. QT1 says yes. So interesting. A lot of you think that they could actually win this case. Oh, okay. All right. We have a question here from You Melanated Origins, which says, do you think African Americans are descendants of original Native Americans and original Africans? If so, how valuable is that? Also, how could they prove it against a colonized, corrupt government? So let's take that question by question, right? So the first question is, do you think African Americans are descendant of original Native Americans and original Africans? So, quite frankly, I have not done extensive study on the origin of human beings. Now, to my knowledge, it was proven by historians years ago that human life began in Africa. Now, again, I stand to be corrected because I have not done extensive study. But it was allegedly proven by historians years ago that human life actually began in Africa and then from there spread throughout the planet, right? That's pretty much as far as I go into the origin of human beings. Now, the next question is, how could they prove their claim against a colonized and corrupt government? Well, here's the thing. We can always sit on high and say, well, the government isn't moral and the government is corrupt and this and that. But if we continue to view things from that perspective, then we would never, ever attempt to hold them accountable, right? So think of it this way. If, in fact, we are going to say that a certain entity is corrupt, then let's take them to task. Let us take them to task and say, we do not think you are doing things the right way, and we are now challenging you to do them the right way. What do you think about that? All right, let's see. I'm looking for questions here. Oh, we have another vote. Octavius says no, they would not be successful. That's his opinion. Okay. Crime Spotter just had a comment. Let's see. Crime Spotter says, this is a time for a lot of activism, so it's got a more successful chance now than 30 years ago. Good point. Yeah, it has more of a chance of succeeding now than it would have 30 years ago. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so I don't see any other questions. If you have a vote, you're welcome to vote on the replay. Do you think this suit would be successful? If not, we are going to not if not, but if I don't see any more questions, we're going to talk about this case. Because remember, I told you this isn't the first time that we've had celebrities and blood diamonds and all these allegations being thrown around. And this type of case did go to court before. Bet you didn't know that. So let's dive into that then, shall we? I'm going to give you a quick gist of it. Well, actually, I'm not going to. Let me take you straight to the source, right? Let me take you straight to the source. So share screen per my usual. All right. And here we are. We are now on The Guardian, theguardian.com. Okay. And you see here, this article is more than 11 years old, which I told you that this is an older case. Okay. Here, Naomi Campbell's testimony at a blood diamond trial. Interesting. So 13 years ago, on a balmy South African evening in September, an eclectic group of guests arrived in Pretoria for a dinner with Nelson Mandela. Despite the somewhat incongruous presence of a former warlord, they ate, drank, and made merry. The host wore one of his trademark shirts, and in the morning, one of the guests woke up with some diamonds. So if you're following what we're reading here, we are hearing that Nelson Mandela had a group of people over for dinner, and one of his dinner guests was a warlord. That's interesting, right? It's interesting when you think of Nelson Mandela's legacy, right? Okay, so we're getting into some pretty juicy stuff here. Okay, all right, let's dive in. We then see that one of the guests woke up with diamonds that they obviously did not have before, because the phrasing used here is to say that these were newly acquired. Okay, this gets more interesting. So much and very little more is known for certain about the night of September 25th, 1997, when Naomi Campbell says she was given some dirty-looking stones by mysterious men who showed up allegedly at the behest of Charles Taylor, the former Liberian leader, at her bedroom door in the middle of the night. Whoa. So Naomi Campbell is alleging that this former warlord, Liberian leader, had men show up at her hotel in the middle of the night with diamonds, allegedly, that were dirty. So probably just retrieved by some way of alleged illicit means, right? Interesting. Wow, this is getting even deeper. Okay. They then say that the testimony of two witnesses was supposed to shine a light on this exchange, which prosecutors in The Hague, so you know this is in the International Criminal Court, right? Which prosecutors in The Hague believe could be a crucial link between the former warlord and the trade in conflict gems. So here we have Charles Taylor, the former Liberian leader, on trial for war crimes, alleging that he was involved in the trade of conflict gems. Very interesting. Taking the stand in special court for Sierra Leone, Campbell's former modeling agent, Carol White, recounted a version of events that tore to pieces the account given by the model last week. So it sounds like Naomi Campbell was on the hot seat and everyone else is saying that she wasn't telling the truth, allegedly. Let's see what she says. So Campbell says that, Carol White says that Campbell and Taylor, so the former warlord and Naomi Campbell, had been mildly flirting at dinner. And at a certain point in the evening, she alleged that the former alleged warlord, told Naomi Campbell that he would give her some diamonds. Wow. Imagine having dinner and someone just casually telling you, oh yes, I can just get you some diamonds. I mean, wow, this is very, very interesting. Okay. So then it goes on to say, in her testimony last week, Campbell insisted she had not known the diamonds were coming and that the possibility that Taylor was a mysterious donor had only occurred to her the next morning. Okay. Interesting. We were talking about Africa, I think, whilst we were eating, said Carol White. Naomi leaned back and Charles Taylor leaned forward. Naomi Campbell was very excited and she told me, he's going to give me some diamonds. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment just so I can hop into the chat and see what you all are thinking thus far. Because as you can see, this is not the first time that there has been threatened legal action or legal action involving celebrities and blood diamonds. And what is being alluded, what is being insinuated here is that these celebrities, such as Naomi Campbell and Beyonce and this and that, right? They have connections to people who dibble and dabble in these trades. And that would tend to conflict the usual statements that we get from these celebrities, right? Because similar to how Naomi Campbell said she had no idea where they came from and the diamonds just fell out of the sky or, well, fell out of the hands of some random men, right? Is similar to what Beyonce is saying, where Beyonce is saying that she did not know the history of this diamond. So these stories tend to kind of hint that there is this underground connection between celebrities and or prominent people such as Nelson Mandela and some of these African leaders who dibble and dabble in these stolen diamonds. Interesting. Okay. Let me see if we have any questions or comments about that. Anyone have any questions or comments about this Naomi Campbell situation? All right, I'm not seeing any. So listen, we're at 5:53. So if you want me to continue with this Naomi Campbell story, put a Y in the chat. If you're like, no, I get the gist of it, I'm good, give me an N in the chat, and then we'll just move into a Q&A, and we'll close out this stream. I will be back tomorrow with Candace Owens, and I will also be back on Monday with a special guest. I wonder, should I tease it now? Because I haven't made a thumbnail. I'm not going to tease it yet, but I'm back on Monday with a popular topic and a special guest. I'm going to leave it at that. All right, so I see one yes. I see one no. I don't see any other votes in regards to the Naomi Campbell situation. So let me know. Do you want to hear more about that? And CCTV says, did you read the book I sent you? Yes, CCTV. Oh, wrong comment. Yes, CCCTV, Triple C TV. We'll go with that. Yes, Triple C, I did. And I actually am getting back to you in a bit. I was able to take a look at it. Okay. Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. So most of you are really, really interested in this. Okay. So we're going to hop back into the Naomi Campbell story. We're going to round out the story and then I'll take a couple questions. All right. And that will be the stream for today. Let's do it. All righty. Let's get back into it. Naomi Campbell's testimony. Okay. Here we are. Now, at the end of dinner, she continued, Taylor and a man who Carol White identified as Liberia's then defense minister discussed with her and Naomi Campbell how they were going to get the gift to the Mandela's residence. So Naomi Campbell is arguing that these stones came out of nowhere. Everyone else is saying not only that she knew they were coming, but that she helped this alleged warlord set up how he was going to drop off the diamonds to her. Okay, they then said they would have to go to Johannesburg to pick them up, i.e. the diamonds. The diamonds were to be brought to the guest house where Naomi Campbell was staying. Prosecutors argue that while in South Africa, Taylor sold on a batch of blood diamonds he had been given by rebels in Sierra Leone. He vehemently denies this, along with all 11 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity that have been put to him by the court. Teaching moment here. So there are laws on the books which make it illegal to delve in blood diamonds today. But how could a court apply that to a diamond that was found in 1877, right? That's the question that the court would have to address. But we know that today that is considered to be something that is a crime against humanity, okay? Now, according to Carol White, she and Campbell, so Naomi Campbell and her then manager, waited for the diamonds to get there. So Naomi Campbell was allegedly very complicit in this. Okay. Campbell, she said, was very excited and communicating with someone by mobile phone. Eventually, after the two had decided to go to bed, she said, she heard a noise at her window. I looked down and there were two guys on the ground. They said, we have something for Miss Campbell, said Carol White. Campbell, in her nightdress and a cashmere shawl, welcomed the men inside and gave them Coca-Cola, she added. The diamonds were unwrapped, and Campbell was quite disappointed, she said, because they weren't shiny, but dirty and small. So now the plot thickens even more. So she was expecting these large, glamorous diamonds, right? Where was she expecting a warlord to obtain these diamonds? Oh, interesting. They go on to say this account differs significantly from the model's 90-minute testimony under subpoena last week. She denied having spoken with Taylor. So Naomi Campbell said she never spoke to Charles Taylor, the Liberian leader. She said she had never heard of Liberia. And she then told the court that it was Mia Farrow, who was also staying at the presidential guest house, who put the idea in her head that the diamonds could have been from Taylor. I am back in the chat now. Someone has a question. Someone says, is Naomi a program puppet pushing the privilege plan like Beyonce and Jay-Z is? I couldn't answer that question. You know, what is the privilege plan? Who knows? Are there some sort of, as I said, connection between public figures and some of these people who deal in blood diamonds, which we now know there are current laws on the books against this behavior? How would we go about proving those connections, right? Because bear in mind that when people have these sort of gatherings, so for example, when Nelson Mandela had this gathering at his home, the only reason we found out about this gathering is because of this case. Were it not for this case, none of the people at this gathering would have ever told the general public about this gathering. So how could you legally draw these connections between these African leaders delving in blood diamonds and these prominent figures? You couldn't. No one would give you the information needed. All right, we are going to hop back into it. I think we're almost finished with this article, and then I'll do a quick Q&A. All righty, so they go into Mia Farrow's testimony, which Mia Farrow just pretty much says that everything Naomi Campbell said was allegedly a lie, okay? That's it. Now, she said, Mia Farrow says, I remember Naomi Campbell joined us at the breakfast table, but before she even sat down, she recounted an event of that evening. She said that in the night she had been awakened and some men were knocking at her door, and that they had been sent by Charles Taylor, and they had given her a huge diamond. She then said that she intended to give the diamonds to Nelson Mandela's children's fund. Huh. Alrighty, so now the defense attorneys spoke on this testimony, and they allege that Farrow and White are not impartial witnesses, but are women with agendas. They said that Farrow was basing her allegations on a patchy memory of an event that happened a long time ago. Okay, so very, very interesting. So here we have a little who says what. Okay, so now it says that Naomi Campbell sat between Nelson Mandela and Quincy Jones at this dinner. That's what Naomi Campbell says. Okay, so she's saying that she was not near Charles Taylor. Mia Farrow says she doesn't remember where Naomi Campbell sat. Carol White says that Naomi Campbell really sat between Charles Taylor and his Minister of Defense. So as you can see, I'm going to put the link to this article in the chat so you can go about reading it yourself. But as you can see, we have a story tale here of celebrities, politicians, and stolen diamonds being connected, of celebrities, politicians, and African leaders who delve in diamonds that may or may not, maybe, have been obtained via illicit means. Listen to that guest list. Naomi Campbell, Mia Farrow, Carol White, Quincy Jones. If Nelson Mandela is inviting those caliber of people, why would he also invite a warlord? Is it maybe because this warlord was already known to this group of people, already familiar to this group of people, already in this social circle, right? We'll never know. But what we do know is that legally, when you can draw a connection between these dirty diamonds and public figures, you've opened the door towards what? A lawsuit. That's what we do know. And we do know that the United States of America has on the books several statutes by which people who have been harmed by this illegal diamond trading can take action against people here in the United States. That is what we do know. Okay. All right. I am in the chat. Nappy Yankee says, wait, Miss South Africa, darn near Nelson Mandela's daughter, Naomi Campbell, claims that she never heard of Liberia. Listen, when you're in the hot seat, it looks like Naomi Campbell was in the hot seat and she was just anything that I can say to get out of this, allegedly. Okay, let's see. So Bamboo is placing his or her vote. Bamboo says, I don't think they could win a case against Tiffany and Co. However, it would raise awareness and possibly open the door for more of these artifacts to be returned. Kudos to you, Bamboo. And yes, Bamboo, you've made a solid point. Some of you may not be familiar with this, but allow me to kind of share this with you. Not every lawsuit is actually brought with the idea that the lawsuit could be won. There are many lawsuits that are brought just to bring awareness. And it happens a lot when you're talking about social issues. So a lot of women's rights lawsuits, are brought by organizations that know that they probably won't win, but they just want to bring awareness to whatever the issue is, whether it's the protection of women who are victims, whether it's women's rights and feminine rights, or anything of that nature. So there are a lot of lawsuits that are brought knowing that you may not win, but just to get exposure and awareness for a certain issue. Okay. Let me see. I see a question here. So You Melanated says, why do you think people place so much value on a natural resource such as a diamond, especially when it only looks as jewelry and not an electrical component? I think that's marketing. And I think Crime Spotter made that point earlier on in the chat when he said, I think it was Crime Spotter who said it, that the diamond industry has done some phenomenal marketing. I think it is marketing that we really have started, because think of how a diamond is viewed. It's so much more than a stone, right? It's viewed as a symbol of commitment, a symbol of love, this, so that. It's marketing at its best, and we are in the age of consumerism. Okay. Miss Mary says, do you have to say what you have before and after to travel abroad? Okay, so yes, you do have to declare certain things. So that is another question. Did Naomi Campbell declare these diamonds? Who knows? Because you do have to declare, I believe, if you have anything worth over 10,000. So 10,000 in cash or something worth a certain amount or more, you do have to declare it. I've never had to declare anything. I've never traveled with anything like that. When I travel internationally, I am bare bones because I do not want to deal with declaring all these things. All right, so I don't see any questions thus far. So we are at 6:06. I would like to thank all of you for being here with me. Today, we have discussed Beyonce and the stolen diamond. So you know what we like to do here, right? We do life lessons through a legal lens. So what have we learned today? Well, we've learned that diamonds have a complicated history, and that perhaps if you are going to wear a diamond, you should try to ascertain what the history of that diamond is. Second, we've learned that anyone, anywhere in the world who has been harmed can sue in the United States if their harm has a connection to the United States. That is how South Africans could come to the US and sue Tiffany and Co. And the federal court has jurisdiction over all of those things. Okay. And the third thing that we've learned, it is an international crime to participate in the trade of blood diamonds or illegally obtained diamonds. Okay. So listen, it has been yet another wonderful time with you all. Thank you to everyone who's here. Please like the video if you are in the building. If you're catching this on the replay, please give me a like. If you're not subscribed, why not? I mean, listen, you're here. I'm here. We've connected. We're having a good time. Why not? Right? And as we are headed out, B Buccaneer is actually the person who enlightened us. And I'd like to share a comment from B Buccaneer. B Buccaneer says, prior to 1947, people did not buy diamonds for marriages. It was the De Beers campaign, Diamonds Are Forever, that started the trend. And with that being said, I am going to go ahead and sign off. It has been wonderful, and I hope you all have an awesome Saturday evening.